Take a breath. It's okay. Take a breath. Take your time. It's okay. Dear Shandy. Welcome back to another Dear Shandy Bachelor recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing just fine.
Just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm doing just fine myself.
Is that good or is that above average?
I think just fine is pretty good. If it's just fine, then it's
right. It's
not
all about
great.
the pause between the just and the fine.
Yeah, but if it's just fine, yeah. And you want to know why I'm just fine? Because I liked episode 2.
Me too. It's the opposite of the sophomore jinx with this show, because usually the first episode I find is not that great, and that's the way it should be. You should always start a little light. You don't want to go in too heavy, because then you have a lot to live up to. And
I have to admit, when I start a new show, I never gauge my opinion on it solely on the pilot episode.
Oh, you can't do that.
So shall we get going? Recapping episode 2, Andy.
Let's do it.
Okay, the episode opens with a cold open of Lauren and Joey, and Lauren throwing her cake on the ground. But I wanted to address this because apparently some Shandies, I don't know if they're true Shandies, they were very upset that we didn't talk about the cold open last week. But we don't talk about cold opens.
We don't do cold opens.
Well, what I like to do is recap the content of this show. I don't like to guess or speculate what something means, especially when that thing that we're being shown is designed to mislead us 99% of the time.
If they really wanted to give away something with that cold open, they would ruin the show.
100%.
They're trying to mislead you.
Yes.
So why should we recap a mislead? The best thing to do about a mislead is to ignore it.
Yeah.
In general in life.
Yeah, they're trying to like hook you and also mislead you at the same time. It's just not really our thing. I'm sure that's probably a fun activity to do with friends, but we're not doing that here. No. Sorry. Okay, moving on. Not talking about the cold open.
Oh, we've talked about the cold open now a lot.
We talked about why we don't like cold opens.
But we've talked more about not liking the cold open than we would have talked about just the cold open. So maybe we should talk about the cold open.
So we open with Joey training Jesse in tennis. And we were a little concerned here, Andy.
Very concerned.
I thought there were going to be like 30 tennises in this episode. We do get Word Watch 1 here with Jesse saying, if you navigate this as well as you teach tennis, you'll find your person. Mm-hmm. The ladies move into the mansion and Jesse arrives to chat with them. And here we learn that Lauren and Allison, the sisters, have actually kind of sort of dated the same guy, but they insist it wasn't simultaneously. There's no overlap.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably happened before.
Yeah, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a big deal, but it's probably not.
I maintain I find it like slightly weird, but I think every family is different. Yes. Leah in her ITM says she hopes she made the right decision in burning her card as she may not have enough time. I have to point out, this was all mostly a voiceover with a tiny bit of ITM. I think that this was frankenbitten together and it's serving as foreshadowing. And I did have a bit of a sinking feeling last week that Leah getting rid of the card would mean she would have to come to regret burning the card. I feel like her burning the card almost guarantees the fact that they will not give her own one-on-one time.
Yeah, I think it was a noble choice that is going to shorten her time on the show significantly. I think it's similar to when, in a movie, somebody early in the movie is like, listen, I'll sacrifice myself to give you guys like an extra 30 seconds to run. I'll hold off the monsters.
Yeah.
And they die, but you always remember in the movie, you're like, oh, that was a good character. Like he, or she was important. And that's it. But it's over. The movie will keep going and end without them ever coming back.
It's like in Game of Thrones, the guy who
holds the door.
Yeah, Hodor. Hodor.
Yeah, hold door. That was a good reveal. I like
it's
that.
Leah Hodor.
She's so.
Oh, that made no sense and I loved it. Okay. So we have our first group date with Rachel, Taylor, Kelsey T, Lexi, Evelyn, Erica, Maria, Lauren, and Jess. And the card reads, "Here comes the bride." And I have to admit, in the previews with the wedding dresses, I was a little nervous that we were going to get another bridal photo shoot. We've had that so many times. But this is, I gotta say, this was a good date. I was into this.
It's great.
The ladies sprint to the rose room to pick out their wedding gowns. A highlight was Rachel being knocked over by a dress rack. It was such chaos. And we have to talk about how good the music is. When it's been a minute for this show for me and I come back, like it's been a few months and I come back, I'm like, The Bachelor has their music down pat. They know what they're doing. This was like a really good brass band. Here Comes the Bride, like arc of music with a good build, and it culminated in them arriving.
Variations on a theme.
Yes.
Did they hire someone new in the last couple of years? Like, what happened there?
I feel like it's always been good. The Bachelor
Always.
has good music.
Good music.
It's the kind of thing you don't notice as being bad, which means it's good.
Oh, good point.
In the limo, Maria mentions what she needs at her wedding, and one of those things is her dad. And this is rather unfortunate. She's sitting next to Lauren.
Yeah.
It turns out that her father passed away only 7 months ago. And so she has a bit of a reaction to this, especially being in a wedding dress. I can totally see this being very upsetting.
Of course.
Basically, I think she, for the first time, was like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
My father won't be there to walk me down the
possible
aisle.
this is the first time she's really
They
been
faced
able to
that.
mourn.
Yes.
Like sometimes someone dies and you're kind of in shock and you bury it and you don't really
or you're mourning,
address it.
Yeah, you're mourning it like more in like the
Logistical.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
I think putting on a wedding dress would be
It
very
just hits you.
upsetting.
Sometimes
Totally.
it's going to happen years later.
Yep. Heading into this date, Joey in his ITM says, it'll be fun to picture myself walking down the aisle with them.
He's funny.
Funny. He has a couple moments. There were a couple moments in this episode where we laughed.
He gets it. You know what he is? He understands
Yes.
the joke.
Yes. It's just so subtle.
So subtle.
That it's like, I'm like, okay, I understand now. It's taking me some time.
Joey's got immense chill.
Yes.
Immense.
Yeah. It actually downplays his humor,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, he's so chill that he doesn't need it. He doesn't need the laugh. He doesn't need people to even know he's telling a joke.
Yes.
He's just like, I don't care.
If you get it, you get it.
He's basically the closest thing to a Buddhist bachelor we've had.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Joey greets the ladies and announces they are pretending they are all just married. And yes, all of them. And they will be attending their own wedding reception. So Jesse welcomes them in and says, welcome, Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah, that's funny.
Mrs. Joey, grazie dei. And
Oh, nice.
I have to, no, I didn't do it well.
Oh, you didn't? Grazie dei.
Yeah, you need to roll the R.
Grazie dei.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't want to be
Oh.
that person
Oh.
who does it.
No,
You know what I mean? Like, grazie dei.
well, I'm doing it.
Okay.
I'm that person.
Okay, well,
Oh, you mean every time you say it that way?
yeah.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, I'm just going to say G.
No, that'd be awful.
Well, just because his name is like,
Well, he doesn't
it's a
pronounce it that
beautiful name,
It's
first of all.
a great name.
Fantastic.
The best last name for a bachelor ever.
Ever.
Grazie dei.
That's
Grazie dei.
I always find it weird where it's Mr. and Mrs. Joey, blah, blah, blah. I just find it dated.
I agree. You know what? That's part of the patriarchy I think that we can get rid of.
When we have gotten things in the mail that were like Mr. and Mrs. Andrew Levine,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, I always feel a little badass. I'm like, yeah, that's right. But then I realize it's ridiculous.
I feel so owned.
Yeah.
Joey
You're just an appendage of me.
Jesse reveals only one woman will win the first dance, and the ladies have to shine in participating in their wedding reception activities. First, we have bridal musical chairs. This was amazing.
Great.
I loved the technique of some people slowing down around the chairs near him.
It's brilliant.
Anyway, the music stops at Evelyn. I mean, what a star is she? I love
that was
her
amazing.
launching herself over the table.
And she didn't, it's not like she was like, I'm going to do this. That was absolutely in the moment,
Yes.
a decision.
That
and
was
she
impulse.
just went with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was some error.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been probably in the hospital if I did that.
Next, Joey and Maria work the room, and we learn Maria's family business is a sprinkle company.
Amazing.
I wanted to know more about that. I hope we learn more. I'm going to admit, like later on when they have one-on-one time, I was really hoping the sprinkle company would come up, but it didn't.
It never came up. We got to learn about this. Did
Yes.
he go? The question is, do you go into the sprinkle business because you're just like, I love ice cream and sprinkles, and I'm like a happy guy?
I feel like that's why you start, but it doesn't stay like that.
No. I get nothing stays like that. Eventually, you're just like, oh, we got to make these sprinkles. We got to hit our third quarter deadline on the colored
Gotta
sprinkles.
make these damn sprinkles.
Yeah, I got all these chocolate sprinkles. Everyone wants colored sprinkles. What are we going to do with this chocolate sprinkle inventory? But I'm saying, do you think that he got into that based on just the joy of sprinkles, or do you think?
Why are you saying he?
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry to suggest that only a man could be a straight. You're correct.
Yeah.
I was saying
They.
he is just to simplify.
They.
They.
Yes.
Do you think they got into the sprinkle business for fun, or because they were in some other business that was manufacturing foodstuffs and they're like, oh, we can get this sprinkle material for cheap. Maybe we should start making these sprinkles.
The romantic in me wants it to be the former, but I know it's the
I'm
latter.
going to believe it's the former.
Yeah, okay. A highlight through this was Taylor saying, I'm the best one, like she's the best bride. And Joey was like, at least you know that. It was really funny.
This is great.
I laughed out loud at this.
See, he's got a certain flavor.
Yeah.
It's not in your face.
No, it is not in your face at all.
Not in your face.
And as Jess and Joey feed each other cupcakes, we learn that they're both left-handed.
That's a big deal. You know,
Is it?
only like 1 out of 7 or 8 people are left-handed.
Really?
Yeah. So if 2 left-handed people, that's like a 50 to 1 odds.
Here's the thing. If 2 left-handed people have a baby, will that baby be left-handed?
You know, I think it will.
Really?
I think left-handedness is a genetic thing. Unless you're like, it's different. Like sometimes in boxing, like if a guy is right-handed, like they'll start training him really young as a left-hander. The Cubans do this.
Okay.
All Cuban boxers are left-handed because
Really?
the Cuban trainers know that a left-handed boxer has a slight advantage in boxing. But that's different. You're like forced to be left-handed.
Okay.
But I think from birth, I think a baby grabs things with its right hand or its left hand. It's got to be genetic,
Oh,
right?
wow. We'll see. I have a feeling some Shandies might be coming in here. Rachel gives a toast about having fallen for him for his beautiful mind and kind heart. And she does a clever toast here where she acknowledges his past, but toasts to their future. I thought she did really well.
Yeah.
Like I was blown away by how comfortable she was in the setting.
I would have botched it completely.
And Joey now picks Rachel for the first dance. She won. And Michael Bolton.
Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Michael
you were
Bolton.
legitimately excited.
I
So
expected. I was like, when they were hyping it up, I was like, oh, it's going to be some guy that's like
that we've
some
never
country
heard of.
guy that we've
Yeah.
never heard
We're
of.
so used
Not
to.
that we are musical experts currently, but
No,
I would
not
just-
currently.
Not currently, but I'd like to see someone that, you know, is
You've
good
heard
and that I've heard of.
Yes.
And Michael Bolton definitely is someone I've heard of.
I mean, and him singing "When a Man Loves a Woman."
Oh,
this was, I think, one of the top 3 of all
Can
time.
I tell you something? There was a time when for Michael Bolton to show up on a show and sing that song, that's like $1 million.
Really?
I mean, he was like for like a minute. That was
For a minute, that song is timeless. Everyone knows Michael Bolton.
yeah, but everyone and that song, that's his song.
Oh, I see what
it's
you're
one
saying.
thing for the famous person to come on and sing not his song
Yeah,
or her
yeah, yeah.
song, but to sing their song.
Yeah, that's
a big deal.
I mean, it's not just their song; it's that. So that song is so famous.
That was $1 million song at one point. Like if you say like
I think it's more than $1 million song.
to get Michael Bolton to your kid's bar mitzvah to sing "When a Man Loves a Woman," $1 million in 1993.
Okay, so that's key. Like, so basically, back in 1993, $1 million was what? $5 million today?
Oh, I was saying $1 million now, and so maybe 300,000 in 1993. Either way, he's $1 million. That's $1 million song.
Okay, I gotta say, this scene with Rachel, them dancing, and they kind of kiss here and there. This was a much more tasteful way to force all the other women to watch him kiss someone else.
Totally agreed.
Like versus last Bachelorette season where I guess actually Joey was the winner of that date, ironically. And all the guys had to just stand there watching him kiss her. And of course they got a little annoyed. I thought this was a very not tasteful, but it was like a more
organic.
Yeah, it felt a little more organic. Like clearly they want to force the women to watch that and be jealous. And I understand the purpose of that, but I thought that this was a really clever way of doing it.
Definitely. Whoever thought of this whole wedding thing should be given a promotion.
Yes, I completely agree. And it's also a testament to Rachel's likability that no one did seem to complain.
No.
In the evening now, Maria pulls Joey first. She says she can't breathe in her white corseted dress. She has to get into something more comfortable. And she emerges. I mean, this is pretty hilarious.
Well, what was funny about it was you expected this to be a joke, but it wasn't. She just did the thing that she said.
I thought she was going to come out in pajamas.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like was going to happen.
Or like some joke outfit.
Yeah. Instead, she comes out in what's essentially like a bikini top dress with like sleeves. And I mean, it's very ballsy.
Oh, yeah.
I was really amazed by the gumption of this
It was
move.
a heavy gump.
And Joey's like, okay. As he's talking about how he doesn't know much about her, she dives in for a kiss. So actually, this one-on-one time, as entertaining as it was, left a little to be desired for me.
I think Maria should have waited 2 or 3 more beats for that kiss.
I agree.
She was in a good spot.
Yeah.
She could have milked it.
I just feel like I want to see a little more conversation. I'm concerned that by her doing that and really putting on the gas in the sexuality department, that she's going to get pigeonholed as a certain kind of character. Because I actually think she and Joey could have great conversation.
Absolutely.
It's more that I'm worried about her edit and how the women will react and all that.
She's burning the eggs. The flame is too high.
Or she's building a fire on Survivor and just using the
kindling. Oh, big mistake.
She's not building that thing around it.
Yeah, you got to be patient.
Maria returns to the group in this new outfit. And I love everyone's like... No one was saying anything until Lauren's like, why'd you change? I like Lauren and I like Maria. I'm going to say it.
I also like them.
Yeah, big personalities.
Yeah.
Why'd you change?
Yeah, that's the right question.
Kelsey T. This is kind of a throwaway one-on-one time and kiss, but I have my eye on her.
Mhm.
And now Jess. So Jess is off on her own. She's sort of moping with a blanket, and he comes and finds her. And she reveals here that she was in a really bad relationship 2 years ago, and it really cut her down. And her boyfriend, she said there was infidelity. And Joey's like, on his side?
That's a good question.
It was something about the
It's
wording.
a reasonable question.
I shouldn't laugh. Something about the wording of that was really funny, though. Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
I'm suddenly a fan of
I
Joey.
don't know if he's meaning to be funny.
I know. I think he is.
Really?
I think he's got like a stealth personality. He doesn't need to show you. He's very confident and chill. He's got that extreme chill. He's just like, I know what I have, and I don't need to just blurt it out there.
Yeah.
You're going to slowly see it. I'm a slow cooked dish.
Okay. So yeah, Jess says she spent 2 years building herself back up after that relationship. She feels a spark, and it sucks to have the other women, when she's all excited about her connection, to be like, you should just chill. I found this an irksome reframing of history, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, she's not taking into account that they're all there to date the same guy, and that the way she's behaving, her excitement about Joey could be construed as, arrogance or bragging, or kind of like a little obnoxious, considering other people might not have even spoken with him. Like, there's a lot of little social things to consider here. Yeah. And so I found this to be like, she was sort of like playing victim a little bit.
Yeah.
And subtly throwing the other women under the bus.
Yeah.
By suggesting that they were judging her or telling her to chill.
Yeah. And also the whole underlying premise of like, oh, I've been cheated on, so you have to take extra care with me.
Yeah.
Because none of these other women have been cheated on. Everyone's got perfect relationships except for me. Mm-hmm. It's just, Jess did not win me over with this.
No.
I feel the same way about Jess as I did the first
I feel
episode.
even more the way I felt, which is to say, I think Jess is very studied.
Yeah.
I said last week that even her announcing to the group about her smoochy poo and then going to try and steal more time from Taylor, blah, blah, blah. It felt like she had read the book, the literal book on how to win this show. And it's like now she's going into phase 2, which is now in order to become more of a serious character and not just a villain, she needs to have a bit of a sob story that yes. And I don't doubt that she went through hard times. I just found it was a little early to be kind of pulling out this card.
Absolutely.
And it felt therefore contrived to me.
Yeah. No, totally agree.
I can't help. Yeah. Anyway, Joey relates to her here. He said that she's safe with her. They hug and kiss, all that stuff. I do have to say, I really like how Joey handles the women when they are having a hard time or they're sad. Yeah. He's always like, take a breath.
He's a real gentleman.
Your time.
Like, he knows how to deal with it.
He's very calming.
Yeah.
He's like, take a breath. It's okay. Take a breath. Take your time. It's okay. It's like ASMR dating.
Magic spoon, come right in my mouth.
Are you having a good time over there?
Oh, yeah.
Magic Spoon. Can we talk? A sponsor that we had a while ago. It's been like a year and a half since we've had a Magic Spoon moment. But let me tell you, I've missed them. It's the taste of childhood.
It brings you right back like that.
Yes, that flavor.
I can feel the chair I sat in at the breakfast table when I was a kid.
I can feel getting ready for school.
Yes.
Yes, and having a bowl of a fruity cereal that you might have called
Toot Roops.
Toot Roops. Yes, a fruity flavor. This is our favorite Magic Spoon flavor, but Magic Spoon comes in a bunch of different flavors, and let me tell you, they all bring you right back. Also, their peanut butter flavor is really good. Their cocoa flavor is really good. So for anyone who thinks that Magic Spoon is just a cereal that taps into nostalgia, it is so much more. Shall we talk numbers for a moment, Andy? Let's switch.
Give me those numbers.
You show off the very cute Magic Spoon Fruity Box, and I will talk stats. So Magic Spoon has a bunch of flavors, but the variety pack has 4, including cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. This pack has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. Only 140 calories a serving. I'll let that one sink in for a moment. It is high protein, has 0 grams of sugar, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free. So you you get to satisfy that craving for childhood. And maybe sometimes a craving for something crunchy and sweet, which, by the way, I totally use Magic Spoon for here and there.
It's the closest you can get to being a kid again without hurting yourself.
Yes, without the guilt. So go to magicspoon.com/Shandy to grab a variety pack and try it today. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed by 100% happiness guarantee.
So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked.
So start off the new year right with a delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/Shandy and use code Shandy for $5 off.
Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode.
So, Andy, I've been having one of those weeks where I start to feel down about the environment. This happens to me about monthly.
I know.
You
we
know
saw
what I mean.
something recently. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we saw something recently and it just made me feel down. It doesn't feel like the higher ups are doing much to change it either. And it's super frustrating. And that's why it does give me a little bit of joy every time we put our food waste in our Lomi, our countertop electric composter. Every little bit counts.
Yeah, and you know, Americans waste close to 40% of all the food on the table.
Yes.
Think about how insane that is. At least take that food and put it back to the earth in a proper way so it doesn't cause damage, so it actually is allowed to regenerate maybe further food.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, let's not even talk about how much water, how many resources went into making that food in the first place. So Lomi, we can put our food waste, and we're talking banana peels, eggshells, fruit skins of any kind, or even just the leftovers on your plate that you didn't quite finish. You can put that in your Lomi instead of putting it in the trash can. And by the way, when you put it in the trash can and you tie it tight so it's not leaking or whatever, that goes to landfill and over time becomes methane, which is a really harmful greenhouse gas. Or you can put it in a Lomi and with the push of a button, it becomes, Andy,
Soil.
Soil is one of those words where when you say it a lot, it doesn't sound like a word anymore.
It starts to me sound like SOYLE. There are 3 or 4 things I can think of that we can all think of.
Yes.
That would make the planet a better place if everyone did.
Yes.
One of them is composting. And if you want to make a difference and you don't want to change the other bad habits you have, and I know you have those bad habits.
We all do.
Do this. Feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Do the thing that you should be doing to help the planet.
So whether you want to start making a positive environmental impact or just grow a beautiful garden, Lomi is perfect for you.
Head to Lomi.com/Shandy and use promo code Shandy to save $50 off your Lomi.
Again, that's $50 off when you head to Lomi. That's LOMI.com/Shandy and use promo code Shandy at checkout. Thank you, Lomi, for sponsoring this episode. Back at the mansion, the one-on-one date card arrives and it is for Daisy. She reveals now to the group that she started losing her hearing 8 years ago, and it's one of the hardest things she's gone through, but also one of the most beautiful. I loved this. Yeah. She says this is the first time she'll have this conversation with a guy she's dating since she got her cochlear implant.
Wow.
That's like kind of a big deal. Yeah. Back on the date, Lauren is still having a hard time, and she shares with Joey what she was going through that day about the father-daughter dance thing, the wedding dress. And she says, grief isn't linear. I love that she said this. Wow. It's very true. She says if she didn't want to get to know him, she probably would have left that day. He's very comforting. You know, he says all the right things. But then Joey gives the group date rose to Jess.
Yeah. Ooh.
What? Yeah, we were a little shocked by this. I thought he might give it to Lauren.
Yeah.
I do think he has more of a romantic connection with Jess than with Lauren, but honestly, I don't really buy it with either of them.
I don't.
And I do think it was going to go to one or the other. But to me, this felt ever so slightly produced in that we know Jess is the more controversial contestant. Like that she already has been rubbing people wrong, but nothing really comes of this.
No.
Like, no one seems that annoyed. They keep showing shots of Taylor whenever something happens with Jess, even Taylor seems to be reining it in. And I think that is actually what does Taylor in at the end of this episode, because she goes home.
She should have done some drama.
Yeah, if she had reacted more and been more annoyed, I think she would have stuck around.
I agree.
Okay, so Daisy now, in a pink dress, is heading into her date. Andy, you said Daisy looks so much like a daisy.
Right?
She does look like a daisy.
Yeah, what else could she be named?
She could also be a Lauren. I think she could be a Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
She could be.
You're right.
What else?
She could be a Taylor, too.
She could be an Amanda.
Barely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, almost. You're right. Amanda, but barely squeaking by.
She could also be another Kelsey.
Totally. Oh, anyone could be Kelsey.
They go for a helicopter ride to Beach Life Ranch, where they have all access passes. Apparently, this is a music festival. I confess I had never heard of it.
I mean, we don't really know about the music festival scene, but I would assume this is a regional thing.
Okay. They have a great chemistry together, I've got to say.
Yeah.
I love that their energy kind of matches. She's also very chill.
Yeah.
In a way.
Oh, yeah.
She's very comfortable in her skin. I love watching them just sort of walk together, talk together.
They're a good couple.
Yeah.
Cool couple.
They chat and Joey asks what she does, and she says she's transitioning from software sales to running her own nonprofit full-time, which empowers kids to embrace what makes them unique. I thought this was beautiful.
Yeah, she escaped software sales.
Indeed. And Joey says that he has another surprise. They're going to see Bahamas. And she's like, oh my God, I love him. And you and I were both like...
But I did guess it right, though. Country music with a tropical beat.
Yes, you did.
Island beat.
Yes, you were right.
I think I was right. It
it
seemed
sounded
like
that.
it
I mean,
was.
maybe it was just that one song, but it did sound like that. And they dance on stage. Overall, we were struck at how comfortable Daisy was in that setting. On stage with a huge crowd at a festival.
Unbelievable.
Like there was she was so comfortable.
Oh, I was amazed by that.
Yeah.
Him too. How many people at that Bahamas concert were into the fact that a bachelor couple was on the stage for a while?
That's a good point. I feel like
I didn't get the feeling like a big percent. I felt like, one of the reasons I was so impressed is because I felt it wasn't that friendly a crowd. I felt like most people there were like, oh,
that's a good
Bachelor?
point.
What is this?
No, you're right. That's a good point. Because usually this sort of concert setting, when there are other people, they're all brought in.
It's
to
a contained environment.
Yes.
Yeah,
this looked like a real concert.
Like, I'm trying to watch a Bahamas concert here. What is this?
Who are these people?
Yeah.
In the evening, Daisy. I have to talk about her dress. I liked this. She was wearing a strapless white dress with a sort of diagonal ruffle pattern. And her hair is back in a clip and sort of tousled in the front. I thought she looked absolutely lovely, like not too dressy, not trying too hard. It was just, she looked kind of understated.
Also
nice.
thought she looked lovely.
It was just interesting. It wasn't, do I think it was like amazing? No, but it was really like,
strong, safe play. Strong.
He asks more about her nonprofit and she now shares her backstory. She says when she was 11, she would have stroke-like seizures. She would get very sick very easily. And when she was 17, her father was waking her up and she realized she couldn't hear him that well. And she says it kept getting worse and worse and she would get sick on and off and she could barely walk a block at one point. They realized that she had Lyme disease. She went to Germany to get treatment for that. And now she opens up about her cochlear implant. She shows it to him. It's a really lovely conversation, I gotta say. It just felt very natural and uncut.
Yeah, it felt like it was part of the conversation. Like it wasn't like, okay, here's my beat. Now is the time where I'm going to tell, you know, insert sob story here.
Yeah.
It was just like, I'm going to tell you a story that's going to be about us in addition to about me. And
totally.
it's going to come from the conversation.
Yeah, she was like, this is why dating me might look a little bit different. And the reason it even came about is because he was asking about her nonprofit. And she's like, oh, well, I would need to back up a bit to tell you that. It felt so organic and natural, like something you would see or hear in real life.
Yes. And also the fact that no one in the mansion knew about this
until she got her date card.
She got her date card.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just very impressed so far.
Yeah, same. She's not using it as a thing. You know,
she doesn't want to be a victim.
No, she doesn't want it to be her sole story. Yes. It's obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joey says he's inspired by her. She wears it with pride. He's only more impressed and interested than he was before. And Daisy is so cute. She like looks at the cameras and at the producers and she's like, is he real? Is this for real? It's super cute.
It is cute.
I mean, who wouldn't like Daisy?
Yeah, I know. Join the crowd.
Yeah, we're not unique. So unsurprisingly, Joey gives her that rose. And now we are on to group date number 2. We open with Joey working out. I gotta say, even this felt more tasteful than the totally gratuitous shower shots of topless bachelors. It felt like he was actually doing something.
Yeah, no, the tire move. That's a good workout. That is hard.
Oh, yeah.
It is not fun.
And then when the ladies arrive, he puts on a shirt, which even felt sort of tasteful too. It's like he knew, he's like, okay, I'm the bachelor, but I'm not going to do this whole scene topless.
Yeah.
He introduces Jubilee and Demi, and they announce that the ladies will be going through Bachelor boot camp. I've got to say, I thought Jubilee and Demi were great in these roles.
Yeah. Demi's basically becoming a fixture of this franchise.
Yeah, and she serves a specific role so well. Like she's definitely a caricature. They were a great dichotomy with Jubilee being a sort of drill sergeant and Demi like filing her nails.
Yeah,
it was great. It felt like I was like, how much did they rehearse this? It was really good.
Absolutely. Demi's very good at what she does.
Yes. And I thought Jubilee was great too. I mean, I would also do push-ups. Turns out there are 2 teams here and they'll be competing for the evening portion of the date. And this is basically capture the flag, except they're capturing stuffed hearts.
I didn't quite understand how you defend. Like, are you allowed to tackle them?
No, yeah, I had a few questions about the rules. They were like, the rules are that there are no rules.
Yeah.
They're like, whoever gets the heart wins. But I was confused by the paint aspect of this. Was the paint the only way to defend, like, or to hit someone?
Well, you're wearing goggles.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like you have to worry about the paint.
Oh, but maybe if you get paint on the goggles, they can't see that well. It's sort of like the ink
wipe it off
in Mario Kart.
Yeah, but the ink goes away.
The blue team wins and they think they're all going to the evening portion of the date, but then Jubilee reveals only one person is going there that evening and everyone is shocked. I felt a little bad for them, especially back at the mansion. All those ladies on that team, on the blue team, get ready. You know how much work that is? It's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
They had to go shower, get off all that paint, do their hair, blah, 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 put on their dress, do their makeup, and then they're sitting there and waiting.
Eyelashes, too.
Eyelashes.
That always looks hard to me.
Oh, really? What part of eyelashes?
Oh, that thing you have?
That curler?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the least hard part.
Oh, there's just a lot of things. There's like painting. What do you put mascara on your eyelashes?
Yeah.
Then there's the curler.
Yeah.
It just seems like the thing I would look forward to least about doing my face is my eyelashes.
Oh, that's interesting because I actually look forward to the eyelash part because
really?
It's like the part where you see the biggest difference.
Oh,
like I feel like when I put on concealer, I'm like, ugh. Like sometimes I don't bother because I'm like, this is just not making a big enough difference. But eyelashes, it's like, poof.
Yeah, I never knew this about you.
It's good bang for buck. Yeah, you're learning new things. Anyway, a date card arrives and it is for the chosen lady from that group date who is Edwina. I felt bad for the other ladies, but I also appreciated that Edwina did not apologize for it. She's like, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm not going to apologize.
Yeah, she didn't do anything wrong.
No, she was basically like, hate the game, not the players.
Yeah, she did nothing wrong.
Yes.
What is she going to do? It's like, no, I'm not going to take this.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to somebody else.
Yeah. No, I appreciated that about her, but I still, both can be true. Like, I like that she wasn't apologetic, but that sucks.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't really get to talk to him at all.
It was a mean production move.
Yeah. So now with Joey, Edwina says that she has a hard time being vulnerable. And Joey's like, tell me about that. Mm-hmm. And she reveals she's the eldest child in an African household. She's from Liberia, and she has a lot of pressure to succeed. Failure is not an option. She says she has a lot of younger siblings who she can't let down, and Joey says he's sure they're very proud of her. He says, I mean, he's very good at this. Yeah. And she starts to cry here, and he does what I'm starting to realize is his signature move. He wipes away the tear with his thumb.
This is not his first tear wipe.
Oh, I mean, not in this episode alone.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I like about his tear wipe? First of all, sometimes guys go with their finger and it's not as good. Like he does it with the thumb. Yeah. And then he also, sometimes when he smudges their makeup or like smears it around their face, he goes back and like smooths out the area.
Not his first rodeo. This guy knows how to wipe a tear.
I wonder if they get trained in the tear wipe when they become Bachelor or if this is just his own move. Because, you know, little things like they're always touching their knee or their hand, like there's a certain thing that every Bachelor does. And I think that maybe the tear wipe is one of them.
Yeah. I mean, Joey's definitely the king of tear wipes.
He is an excellent tear wiper. I love that he goes back to smooth out the area.
I kind of like, honestly, next time I cry, I want Joey there to wipe my tears.
You don't even need a mirror.
Yeah.
So back at the mansion now, there is a girl chat going on and Medina reveals that she's dun, dun, dun.
More like dun, 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 dun.
31 years old.
Ooh. Call the hearse.
To the group, she says, for me to come here as a 31-year-old, I feel like my time is very limited. I really don't have the time to waste. To her credit, immediately after saying that, she whispers, I wish I did not say that out loud. I felt for her. This was
Yeah.
one of those things. First of all, this is a girl chat. You know, they have that U-shaped formation. There is a producer on the other side of the camera being like, so girls, what are you nervous about? Do you feel nervous you haven't gotten time with Joey? Just basically egging them on to talk about their insecurities. And so Medina, you know, it's very possible a producer was like, well, Medina, what about you? You know, so we have to set the stage for why she would come out and say this in the first place.
Yeah.
And she has to have some insecurity to share. And maybe if this is something she was feeling insecure about deep down in that setting, she sort of blurts it out. But it just did not sound, I mean, 31 is just not old, you know, like even if she's the oldest girl in that house, it's like,
It's never old.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a fish. A 31-year-old fish. That's an old fish.
yeah, any insect, maybe 31,
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
doing
definitely.
very well.
An insect.
Oh,
at
I mean, there are
31's
many
ancient.
things where 31 would be you're doing very well.
Yeah, a dog. 31-year-old dog. A
Yeah.
cat. A parrot. No, not a parrot. Actually, parrot at 31. That's still young.
Really?
You know, parrots live like 60 years old.
Are you serious?
Yeah, when you get a parrot, it's no joke. You see these people with parrots, like that's a lot. That's it. You're going to die, and that parrot's going to be living its life.
Oh, you know, I respect people who have parrots as pets. That is
It
ethical,
shows
right?
commitment.
There's no issue
Oh,
with that.
Yeah, I think parrots are okay being pets. I don't know. I don't want to speak.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert
you're
on
gonna
this.
Get corrected.
But I've seen parrots walking on people's shoulders without anything attaching them, and they seem happy in the street. Like they
Yeah.
could fly away.
yeah, that's true.
They could fly away anytime they want.
Well, they know where their bread is buttered.
Literally.
Literally.
Do they eat bread?
I don't think so.
They eat nuts and
There's
seeds.
a poor use of literally. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, Medina. And when she said, I wish I did not say that out loud, I was like, oh, I want to give you a hug, girl. But like, understandably, I think Maria is like, what?
Yeah.
You know, she kind of takes issue with, and I takes issue is even too strong. She's just like, that's so ridiculous. 31 is not old. You know,
It's
she sees it
ridiculous.
in a black and white, like own it girl kind of way. And then goes and talks to a girl who's, we can only see the back of her head. So I don't know who it was, but it was not Medina. She basically says Medina should be proud of her age. And if anything, Joey probably loves it. And now we see Sydney overhearing this and thinking that Maria's talking shit about Medina. Okay, we'll put a pin in that and come back to it. Back on the date, Joey tells Edwina he's excited about what's in store for them. He gives her the rose. So now it's the next day. It turns out that age thing, which was like just such a blip, has turned into this big swirling rumor where Maria was talking shit about Medina. And Maria, I think, is understandably upset. Like this would be really frustrating.
Yeah.
You know what this kind of reminded me of in terms of like such unnecessary, like blowing out of proportion of things was on Zach's season when Brianna had an issue with Christina Mandrell
Yes.
being like, oh, you're so pretty, I hate you.
Yes.
Like it was a compliment.
Yes.
It was obviously a compliment. You are choosing to be offended by something based on the tone, but like it was, I think colloquially, like contextually, it's obvious that was a compliment.
Yes.
This reminded me of that.
Yes.
Like, I think it was pretty obvious by what Maria was saying and how she was saying it that she was like, you know, it's no big deal. Like, well, like she's trying to make her feel better. You can, sure, in a certain specific way, try to construe that as her minimizing Medina's feelings or the validity of them. But I think that's really a stretch.
It's, you know what? The lowest form of talking shit is talking shit about someone else who you think may have been talking shit about somebody else.
Yes. At that point, I feel like you're looking for a fight.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was Medina. I really do think
No.
this was Sydney.
Absolutely.
Sydney thought she was standing up for her friend. But sometimes, you know, it's not necessary. And I
No.
think that this will end up both harming and helping Sydney.
Well, for me, I'm done with Sydney.
Okay. So you were really bothered by this.
Written off.
Yeah.
There's nothing she can do to redeem herself in my eyes. Fatal error.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Now we have Lexi. It's the cocktail party. Lexi has her time with Joey. She reveals she got her master's in fine arts. It's her biggest passion. And she paints him here. This was cute. She turns
Yeah.
around a sort of like stick figure-y watercolor painting.
Yeah, it's cute.
It was cute.
Actually, it was impressive. You know, they say that drawing like a child is one of the greatest skills of a master artist.
Yeah.
And I think she did a good job.
Wait, so do we think that she actually is a really good artist and that she, or what was all that other stuff
I think
not
it was
true?
a joke setup.
Really? Let's see what
think. I think it was a joke.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Digital strategist. Anyway, it was funny.
Yeah.
It showed a quirky sense of humor on her part.
Yeah.
That I think for the most part, Lexi comes off a little serious. And I say that with love because I think I came off serious on my season 2. So I'm not like, it's not a criticism, but I thought it was a really clever way of showing her sense of humor.
And she said to move his head like a little bit to the left, which was cute. Yeah,
it was cute.
I liked it.
They have a kiss and it is decidedly less chaste than last time.
No peck there.
Yes. Montage now of time with Kelsey A. I have to say, Kelsey A's look might have been my favorite of the episode. People want me to talk about fashion. You guys have to keep reminding me. I just don't really like think to talk about it. I just enjoy it in the moment. I don't take notes of it.
Oh, you should talk about it.
Yeah. So she was wearing a baby blue high neck halter dress and she had her hair in like a big but sort of casual ponytail. I thought it looked nice, and she had these sort of side bangs. She just looked beautiful. It was an interesting color and sort of understated. I just thought she looked elegant, but also not too try hard. It was beautiful. The color really goes a long way. Baby blue.
Yeah, baby blue.
That's a great color. There's a very funny quote of Joey's here. This was him being his funniest. I do not know if it was intentional, but in his ITM, he says, "These women are not only beautiful on the inside, but I hope continue to highlight how beautiful they are on the outside too."
I think we got that a little reversed. A shower without Athena Club is a sad and lonely place.
That was such a happy jingle for such a sad message.
No, but it's a positive message for Athena Club.
Oh, that's true, which this is an ad for right now. Their razor kit, which includes, look how gorgeous. It includes the actual razor and 2 blades and the magnetic hook, $10.
Give me that magnetic hook. I want to feel it in my hand.
It is very velvety, isn't it? But it's so great. This sticks on your shower wall, and you can remove it, by the way. It's not like you have to drill it in and it's suddenly permanent. But look.
Can't go that low.
They belong together.
Yeah.
Yes. And look there, after using the razor, it just air dries naturally. You're not putting it on the edge of the tub where it's just going to sit in its own liquid and goop.
No gunk, no rust.
Yes.
That's all I ask for in a razor.
Is it too much to ask? And that blade, by the way, is serum infused. So it has shea butter and hyaluronic acid. It is just a step up. I have said before that I never thought I'd see the day where on this podcast we'd be advertising a razor. It's not like I was like, ooh, we're going to start Shandy. I can't wait to advertise razors.
Well, we almost turned it down. When we heard it was a razor, 100%. We're like, we're not doing a razor.
Yes, this actually happened.
We're like, just send us a razor. Let's see. Who knows?
And then I used said razor and I was like,
resounding yes.
Yes. And with the subscription service, when that blade gets, a little worn.
Which, by the way, it takes a lot longer than most blades, let's be honest.
Then you have it just coming to you. You don't have to make a trip out to order it or remember to order it. And the next time you're in the shower, you're like, oh, I forgot to order a new blade. Plus, their other products are so great. Their shaving foam, I love. Also, their body scrub. They just know what they're doing. And the scent.
I like the scent so much. I actually use the body scrub on my face, and it's gentle enough for my face, which is quite sensitive, actually. Yeah. And it works beautifully.
And then you smell good for a long time.
Yeah, smell good. And I don't have bits on my face.
Bits of what?
Skin.
So if you're ready to upgrade your shaving experience, switch to the best razor on the market and show your skin you care with Athena Club.
Head over to athenaclub.com to try their award-winning razor and body products.
And get 20% off your purchase with code DearShandy at checkout.
You can also find Athena Club razors at your local Target store.
Trust me, you won't look back. Happy shaving.
So Sharleen, I want to talk about something very important today.
Okay.
Jugs. Plastic jugs.
Okay. I was wondering why you were so excited to start this Earth Breeze ad. Okay, jugs, plastic jugs. Did you know that 91% of your laundry detergent jugs, which are plastic, end up in landfill? Even if you're putting in the recycling bin, chances are you're a bit of a recycling optimist, which I confess I am. And that's why we are such fans of Earth Breeze.
It's really amazing. Like, I really just want to have everyone focus on the visual of that. Think about all the laundry jugs you in your single little life have used and thrown in the recycling or just the garbage.
Yeah,
and
regularly.
Then think about how many people do laundry.
So Earth Breeze is laundry detergent, but in sheet form. So this right here, for our listeners, I've said before, an index card sized sheet. You throw this in your wash and it works with hot or cold and it's safe for sensitive skin. You have not had an issue even
no
though
issues.
You do have sensitive skin.
Maybe this is the thing. Like I've noticed since we started using this, and I'm not going to make a big claim here, but I'm just going to say that since we started using Earth Breeze, I've had no rashes.
This
and
is
I
true.
always have rashes.
Yes, it's true.
It's one thing. It's like, okay, save the planet, get rid of plastic, be a good person. And you're like, well, what's the cost? No. It's just as good as any laundry detergent.
Yes, that's the best part is you're not sacrificing. Sometimes when you go a little more green, it's actually quite an inconvenience. Yeah. And finally, in case you're not convinced, I love a company that really stands for something. For every purchase you make from EarthBreeze, they donate 10 loads of laundry to a charitable cause of your choice.
To date, they have donated over 100 million loads. So there's no reason not to switch to EarthBreeze.
Right now, our listeners, the Shandys, can subscribe to EarthBreeze and save 40%.
Go to earthbreeze.com/Shandy to get started.
That's earthbreeze.com/Shandy for 40% off. earthbreeze.com/Shandy. Okay, so now back to the age thing. Maria asks to speak with Medina, and I gotta say, the first time I watched this, I thought Medina had a very strong, like overly strong reaction to Maria confronting her and being like, can I ask what I said? Like, did I offend you? What happened? But on second watch, I actually think that Maria was sent to talk to Medina at a time that it wasn't good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They tried to create a scene.
Yes. Like she was setting up for her date. She was like adjusting pillows and things. She was clearly expecting Joey. And I can understand why in that state she would not want to have that conversation with Maria.
Yeah.
And I think Maria was so fixated on trying to solve the problem that she maybe didn't take stock of what was happening. Right. But I actually thought, if you take away the tense music and all the cuts, there were definitely a lot of cuts to make this seem more tense than it was. I thought that it was actually a very cordial exchange.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, if I was in Medina's position and my best friend in the world was Maria, I'd be like, I'm going to do it, not now. Just beat it.
Yeah. Even when she says, she's like, can I talk to you? She was like, yeah. Like she gives her a smile.
Yeah.
They're not enemies.
No, there was no problem there.
Yeah.
It was just an inconvenient time for that conversation. I think she appreciated what she was saying, but not at this moment.
Yes. The one thing Medina says is, you made it feel like it wasn't a valid reason to be upset, but there's more to the story and I'm waiting for Joey. Like, can we talk about this later, basically?
Yeah, I think I think Medina's a little upset in general. And, she's voicing her feelings.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't think she sees Maria as enemy number one.
No. And then Maria addresses the group and it's just like, who told her this? And we learn it's Sydney, of course. I thought Maria, I can see rubbing people wrong because she's
confident.
She's very confident. She's very like, can we solve this? She's so direct that I can see some personalities being like, oh, whoa, that's a little much for me.
Sure.
But I felt it was a little necessary in this situation. To the whole group, she's like, let me be clear. The only reason I said I'm old too is because I don't think there's a big difference between 29, 30, 31. Yeah. And I want her to own it. And it annoyed me when in this group setting, Sydney was like, well, Medina feels a certain way about being the oldest in the house. She's allowed to feel that way. And Maria's like, oh, we're the same age. They're like 2 years apart. Yeah. And Sydney's like, see that, you're belittling it.
What? Belittling it? What, her horrible affliction of being 31? Sydney, she's dead to me.
Sydney.
Nothing to redeem herself for the rest of the show. I don't care how long she sticks around. That behavior is unacceptable.
It's just, I find it a little kid glovey. Like, it's so obvious that Maria meant well here. I think that you can really create something out of nothing, and that's what Sydney did here.
And no matter how you look at it, it's bad. Because if it's loyalty, I am a strict believer in loyalty being a bad thing. If you are loyal without exception.
Yes.
I
know what you're saying. Sometimes you can be so loyal that you tell a friend something that is not going to make them feel better.
No.
You're just like, I'm going to report back dutifully like the friend that I am. But if what you're reporting is something that's only going to fill them with anxiety, like Medina clearly got a version of the story that wasn't entirely accurate and it only made her feel worse. How is Sydney helping her?
Not helping. She's being annoyingly loyal.
Yes.
Loyalty has exceptions in friendship.
Yeah.
For the friendship.
I agree.
It's good for the friendship.
Yeah, good for the friend.
Yes.
Like what you're telling them might help your friendship because you're like, oh, look how loyal I'm being. But I think at that point you're doing it partly for yourself.
Yeah.
You're proving how loyal you are.
It's selfish. Her loyalty was selfish. It's like, look at me. Look how good a friend I
Yeah.
am. I'm just going to be loyal.
Yeah.
And anybody who comes at you, I'm going to tell them off.
Yeah.
I hate that stuff.
No, me too. I really, like, as you've always said, loose lips sink ships. This wasn't even a good example of loose lips sink ships, honestly, but it was absolutely not necessary. And I think that with Sydney, it makes me wonder if she's like, well, it doesn't hurt. I'm going to stick around longer for having done this.
Yeah. Well, no matter why she did it, she's wrong.
I'm Team Maria in this one. And to me,
100%.
Medina is just the catalyst. Like, I don't even think Medina did anything wrong necessarily.
I don't even think there's a team here. I think if you're not Team Maria, you're completely missing what's going on here.
Yeah, I feel like if you're Team Sydney in this, then you maybe have a tendency to find a way to get offended easily.
Yeah, you know what Team Sydney is? Team Sydney are the people who are like, I cannot have a pastry without raisins in it.
Wait, so what you're saying is that the raisin ruins the pastry?
Yeah.
But wait, I'm confused. Wait, who's the person with the who can handle
did
it?
I throw a double negative in there? I'm saying that if you are in the Sydney camp, it's like being the person who's in the camp of I will not eat a pastry unless there are raisins in it.
Oh, like you can't pick them out.
Yeah, like how many people do you
who
know?
likes the raisins?
Yes.
Oh, no one's like that.
Yeah, thanks. Landon.
There is not a single person on this planet who would prefer something with raisins to something without raisins.
I've met them. There are a couple on the planet, and those are the same people who were in Sydney's camp.
Okay. Anyway, this whole thing culminates in that group chat with Maria being like, can we all agree this is a little nuts? And I felt like this is where editing took over a bit. Like they made it kind of end tensely. And I do think there's more drama to come between the two of them for sure. But I think overall the ladies were not on Maria's side.
No, I think most people in America and in the mansion are on Maria's side. This is not a thing.
Yeah.
This is a mountain of a molehill. It's not even a molehill.
Yeah.
It's a mountain of a flat piece of earth.
Yes. And Maria tries to be like, okay, like come to me next time. Like we're solved. This is done, blah, blah, blah. Like there's no drama here. And Sydney in her voiceover is heard saying that Maria's annoying and a problem. But even that, I'm not even sure that she said it in this moment. I think it was probably taken from later. I think they're trying to set the stage for a big blowout here.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the old days, this would culminate in a 2-on-1 date.
The old days?
Yeah. The old days. So now things start to turn over to Lauren here. Lauren starts spiraling. We even see the ladies in the kitchen talking about their time with Joey, who had time with Joey. This is all serving the purpose of making Lauren spiral. But I thought it was funny how even Medina, we saw her setting up for the date. She was like, there's a backstory to the 31 thing. There's all this. And then we see Medina come in. They're like, how was your time? She was like, it was good. Like with all the talk about the 31 thing and there being some backstory to why she feels that way. And then they couldn't even show 30 seconds of that.
Yeah. She got used as a prop.
She did. If I were Medina and I watched that episode back, I would be irked.
Yeah.
I've got to say. So Lauren, hearing about everyone's time, she hasn't had her time. She's starting to threaten to leave. And she, in her ITM, says that she hates it there. She wants to leave. Of course, cue Joey. Anyway, what's funny here is that he doesn't call her bluff. Like she's talking about leaving. He's like, oh, I'm sorry you want to leave. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, want me to?
He doesn't try to change her mind.
No, he was not interested in Lauren.
But do you think that if he had tried to change her mind, she would have stayed?
No.
Really?
I think Lauren is someone who makes decisions for herself.
Oh,
she
really?
seems like a pretty assertive person.
Okay. Yeah, I think you could be right, but I also think it's totally possible that she was one of those people who's like, I'm leaving. I don't want to stay. And then what they want is for the other person to convince them to stay.
I know what you mean. That ordinarily would be the case. But I think with Lauren, I think she was done. I think it was something, the combination of her father, I think it got her out of the mood. Like, I think she actually was just like, I don't want to be here anymore.
I feel like she's not willing to rough it in the way that you must on this show.
I think she likes being treated a certain way, and she did not get anything close to
100%.
that. And she was done. And the father thing was getting her out of the mood of the whole operation.
Totally. I think, you as a contestant on The Bachelor, on the surface, it's really cushy. You travel the world, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually, you are roughing it in terms of how you're treated and what you're put through.
Yes.
And I think she's just like, I'm too old for this.
I got to be honest.
Not too old. Sorry. Not too old for this. She's just over it.
She's too experienced. I would say between the two sisters, The other sister, what's her name?
Allison.
Allison is definitely more easygoing.
Lauren leaves. I was a little sad about this. Oh, she's annoyed the cake isn't red velvet. And she throws it to the ground.
She lost a couple of points there.
Oh, yeah, the wasting of the food.
Yeah.
To me, this felt directed at production.
I honestly think someone might have told her to throw the cake. They're like, cake throwing has been getting good numbers on this franchise.
Cake throwing. So that brings us to our rose ceremony. There was a funny moment of Joey's where in his opening speech, he's like, I wish I could give each one of you roses because you've done nothing but deserve it. He promptly reaches for the first rose. Something about the timing of this was very funny. No real surprises at this rose ceremony. Going home are Erica, Marlena, and Taylor. And of course, Lauren already left. So that leaves us at 18 women, which I have to point out is the number of women who got through night one and moved into the mansion on my season.
So we're dealing with a lot of women.
Yeah, they basically just keep adding slightly more women every year. Breaking records, one record at a time.
Shattering records.
Okay, Andy, your A game. Who is your winner?
Easy, Daisy. Poise all the way through from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Never trying too hard, never forcing anything, saying the right things, being cool. I can't say anything negative about Daisy.
She is negative annoying. There's nothing remotely annoying about Daisy.
You're absolutely right. She's the least annoying contestant that I have seen in a long time.
Okay. I mean...
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Every human is annoying in some way.
Yes.
No one is completely zero of annoying. It's like temperature. You can't get to absolute zero. There's no such thing as absolute zero.
Uh-huh.
You can get to like 0.00001 degree Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
But absolute zero doesn't exist in this universe.
Yeah.
Same thing with annoying.
Okay.
She is as close to absolute zero annoying as you can get.
Totally. And I actually think you can annoy yourself. Like I annoy myself sometimes.
I annoy myself every day.
Yeah.
I've annoyed myself in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that brings us to our word watch. There was only one tennis, shockingly.
I was a little disappointed. I was looking for a crooked number.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, they opened literally with a picture of tennis balls.
Yeah. So, Andy, how many correct guesses were there?
58.
Oh, and our winner is Keaton Dickinson. Congratulations. You are the winner of $150 in Skims apparel. Congratulations. What a great prize to start the season off with. Mm-hmm. And Andy, what is your word for next week?
Drama.
Drama. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that might
but a goodie.
Come up. So if you want to join in the Shandy Word Watch fun and have a chance to win a very exciting prize, a new sponsored prize, then you can join by guessing the number of times you predict the word drama will be uttered in episode 3. You must do so using the numeral of the number of times you think it will be uttered, and you must do so by either commenting below this YouTube video or over on the Instagram post for this recap. You can only guess once, by the way. If you are caught guessing more than once, you will be disqualified from ever winning a word watch, so don't do that. And you must do so by this Friday at midnight. And if you guess correctly, you will be entered in a draw, and then one name will be plucked, and that person will win. Our exciting new prize is $230 in One Skin products. This is a skincare line I've had my eye on for some time. I've just recently started trying it out myself. But the company was founded by 4 women who are scientists, and they have developed a proprietary peptide called OS1 that reverses your skin's biological age. And you guys know I'm no slouch when it comes to my skincare.
You actually forced me. You said you will be using this every day.
Force is strong, but I encouraged it.
And we have a promo code on top of your chance of winning a prize. You can win a guaranteed prize of 15% off.
Yeah. If you go to oneskin.co and enter promo code Shandy at checkout, you can get 15% off your first purchase. Such a great prize. I like giving away skincare. I like giving away things that I basically want to receive when I win a prize. Okay, that brings us to our predictions. Andy, who do you have in your top spot?
Daisy.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, how can I not have Daisy in my top spot after that date?
Okay, I mean, I don't.
Okay, it's your choice.
No, I mean, Daisy's such a strong contender. I have her in my top 4, but I actually still have Kelsey A in my top spot. I feel like Kelsey A had the right amount of airtime for someone who really could eventually win. Like someone who kind of is like in the background this week.
I know what you're saying, and I agree with you, but I couldn't be honest with myself if I put Kelsey A first, because I know that I'd just be talking about the game of the show.
I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And that's why I have Kelsey A second.
Okay. Kelsey A second. I have Lexi second still. Actually, my top 4 is identical to last week. I mean, I think that we can agree that those 3 ladies are all in the running.
Definitely.
I mean,
I have Lexi in third.
yes. And I have Daisy in third. So those 3.
And Maria, I bumped to fourth only because of the drama ensuing, the nonsense drama.
So you think Maria has a chance of winning? Don't get me wrong. I am a big Maria fan. I like Maria. I know she's not for everyone. She's a very specific flavor.
Yeah.
But I maintain what I said last week. I think she's got spunk.
Yep.
She's got personality. And I think that there is still potential, Bachelorette potential in that. Because I think that the audience for this show really responds to a Bachelorette who is like that.
I agree. I think Bachelorette is either Daisy or Maria.
Okay.
And I think the winner is either Daisy or Kelsey.
Ooh, okay. I have Jen in my 4th spot. Even though we didn't see much this week, that is something I look for. And I think she's definitely going to be a major player down the road. My top 4 are the exact same as last week.
And so are mine.
Yeah, that's true. You just
But
got
not
rearranged.
the same order.
Yeah. All right, Andy, I think that's a wrap for episode 2 then.
All right.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, and
TikTok,
leave us Apple and
Spotify,
podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.